How are the brakes better on this than my NC? How? Hello and welcome to the episode. Today I'm on my wife's Honda CB125F. It's a 2021 model. She's done 380 miles on it. Had it for about 4 weeks now. I rode it a couple of times, so I thought I'd do a little first impressions review on it. It's not quite a first ride because I rode this back from the dealership, so if you want my initial first impressions, check out that video. I'll put a link to that in the description. So my wife's had quite a bit of time on the bike. She doesn't commute on it, so she's done on her own, she's probably done 350 odd miles. So I've asked for her opinion on a few things, see what she thinks of it being a new rider. She's only got a CBT, which is only basic training. She's not got a full test, so she's only allowed to ride a 125. If you want to look at my riding history so you can judge my opinion, I've done a video on the bikes I've owned in the past, and I'll also link that in the description. 10 hours later. Oh, that car's smoking. Oh dear. So rather than me going on about the bike, I will jump off, show you around it, talk about some specs, and then we'll get back on for a little ride, and I will talk a little bit more. Catch you in a bit. 2021 Honda CB125F. So this engine has what Honda call ESP, that stands for Enhanced Smart Power. That's a blend of a few things really. It's all about the engine. It doesn't actually have a starter motor. It uses the stator charging system to start the engine. So that is one component they can do away with to save on weight. So you don't get no gear mesh noises when starting up. It starts up instantly. The air intake has improved tumble flow to aid in better fuel combustion. It's got additional sensors in the fuel and exhaust system, so it can constantly update fuel mixture to allow for optimum fuel efficiency, but you've got no loss of power. It's got compact lightweight crankshaft and piston with an offset cylinder, which aids in reduction from friction, allows the engine to spin more freely. It gives you silent operation and ultimate fuel economy. This model is 11 kilograms lighter than the previous model. They've had some panel changes. You've got a 3D Honda badge, which looks premium. It's not a sticker. It's got a digital dash. The ESP engine we've spoke about. It's got LED lights all round. It's got Euro 5 front marker lights. This is 10.7 brake horsepower. It's got a seat height of 790 millimeters. It weighs 117 kilograms. It's got a 13.1 litre tank, and that has a 497 mile tank range, and that is amazing, which averages around 145 to 188 miles per gallon. It's got Euro 5 link brakes, which means the rear brake puts on the front. It's not so instant. If you're just pushing the brake slightly, it will only put a little bit of pressure on the front. It's not 100%. It's probably around about 20% front, 80% back. It does depend on how hard you're pushing. So if you're turning and you're using the back brake, it won't worry too much, because it wouldn't put too much pressure on the front brake. It's more in case of emergency, if you're slamming the brakes on and you're in a straight line, that'll put them on a lot quicker. I just want to show you the digital dash and start-up sequence. I'll start it up now and I'll just show you how quiet it is. How cool is that? So this is all digital. We have a fuel gauge, speedo, clock, total mileage, and a gear indicator. You can change trip A, trip B, miles per gallon. Average miles per gallon, as you can see, is 209, which is fantastic. Obviously the set button resets all the values. Let's look at the switch gear. There's the horn, the indicators underneath in the correct position. There's no adjustment at the top on the clutch cable. You can do this at the bottom. As you can see, you can unscrew the nuts here to take out the slack. It's got a really nice brake lever and it's lower than the foot peg. A lot of the times new riders rest on the rear brake. It's hard to do it on this model. It's not too low so you can't reach it when you need it, but it's in the right position so you're not rubbing it constantly. You've got drum brakes in the rear, which is standard. Nothing wrong with them, you don't need performance brakes. What I like about this, it comes with a centre stand as well, which I think is fantastic, and it's vital for new riders to learn how to adjust the chain, and with a centre stand it makes life so much easier. You keep the chain well maintained, it's easy to adjust. Like I said, it's got LED lights all round, Euro 5 marker lights, so these indicators stay on, and when you've got the when you're turning they flash as normal. They're constantly on, they stand out really well. It's got a main beam flasher, which is quite cool. A lot of bikes don't have the flash. And to turn the main beam on, you push it forward and it stays on. So that's flash and that's staying on. As you can see, flash, constantly on. On the right side switch gear, we have a kill switch, start button. Another thing that's quite cool as well, the rear grab handle is like rubber coated, so it doesn't scratch or mark. I think that's quite nice. It's quite a grippy material as well. The downside to this fuel cap, it's quite big, so when you're putting fuel in it tends to splash up. It hits the bottom of the tank, so that is a bit of a downside, but it's no big deal, you do get used to it. Easy to put in, you just push and it clips in. Obviously this is E10 compatible. Just want to look under the seat. I haven't actually looked under the seat yet. There's quite a lot of room in there. I wouldn't trust anything down the sides though, to be honest. Got no toolkit. Well, it actually shows you there the weights. Made in Italy. Interesting. There's the old colour code. It's easy to put in, just hooks in the front, pushes at the back, easy as that. Also just want to show you what I look like riding it. As I say, I'm 5'9", 13.5 stone, so I might look a bit odd. I would say at least you can hear the sound, but it's so quiet, this bike, so quiet. It's not why you buy it though, is it? It's not, you don't buy it for the sound. But people look and think, what a weirdo, what is he doing? I'm doing this all for the good of YouTube. So you can decide whether to buy one of these or not. You see I can clearly flat foot this. I've still got a bend in my knee. Such a comfortable position. It's a fantastic little bike. Do a few more ride by shots. Am I recording though? Yep. That'd be bad, wouldn't it? We weren't recording. Very silly. I just want to show you how easy it is to put on the centre stand. It's just my foot. Just push down and it's up. Easy as that. This bike is so light, 117 kilograms. It's amazing. And just like that. So easy. It's a really nice white as well. It's got like a pearl in it. And when the sun shines on it, stunning. Initially, the bike is so comfortable to sit on. Your knees are at a 90-degree angle. They're not acute. It is like sitting in an armchair, I'm telling you. They're very comfortable, very confidence inspiring. I'm 5'9", 13.5 stone. Bike pulls very well and it feels very comfortable. Right, so we spoke about the changes, the digital dash. Very nice and clear, ideal for new riders. So the dashboard doesn't have a rev counter. It's no biggie to me or experienced riders, because you do get used to the engine. But I thought it'd be a nice addition if they added that for new riders, to teach them what revs to be in. And one thing I suppose it will teach is for you to get used to the revs rather than relying on the rev counter. So the bike is so smooth, you barely get any vibrations, and that is thanks to the ESP technology, as we spoke about earlier. I'm loving the Eco Light. It teaches new riders how to ride efficiently. I just think this bike is an excellent package for new riders. It's affordable, you get so much for your money. And what Honda have done is taken a bike that's proven fantastically well in the past, and they've made it even better. They've improved the best. They've definitely raised the bar with this one. It's affordable, user friendly, so economic. It's quiet. The dashboard is easy to read. They do fantastic PCP deals on this. I'm not against PCP deals. I think they're a fantastic idea. If that means people can buy the bike that they're confident on, they feel comfortable, the bike that makes them feel happy. If it introduces more people for the riding community, to get them on two wheels, I'm all for that. So this bike retails in the UK at $2,799. 2 years warranty. The first service is due at 600 miles, and that's going to cost £81, which isn't bad at all. And that is at CJ Balls in Norwich, Norfolk. Fantastic guys over there, very helpful, highly recommended. This bike wasn't in stock. We had to order it in from Honda UK. It came 2 weeks earlier than we expected, so immediately we was pleased with the service we received. We was constantly being updated with our order. We wasn't left wondering. I can't fault the service at all from CJ Balls, not whatsoever. So a little bit of history from Jo, my wife, the person that owns this bike. She started riding last year on the 125, but she had a Kiwi 125, a Chinese bike, and the engine was playing up and it kept cutting out mid-corner. Suspension wasn't great, it was very bouncy, and that just ruined the riding experience for her. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Chinese bikes, but if you're not comfortable riding to start off with, you need the best opportunity you can get. And it is worth paying that little extra, it really is. Because I asked her what the difference is from a Chinese bike to this bike, and she said it's like night and day. And that is priceless. If that's the difference between someone pursuing their motorcycle life or giving up, that is priceless. I'd say if you can afford this bike, save up your money, don't go Chinese, get something that's built better, rides better, handles better, and it will last longer as well. Right, so because the engine's got ESP technology, it's so easy to pull away with that reduced friction, amongst other things. It's very hard to stall the bike, which makes it fantastic for new riders. The only thing that I had to do on this bike was adjust the gear lever. I adjusted it up slightly because it was a bit low, and my wife was getting her boot caught between the peg and the gear lever. So I moved it up one notch, and there was quite a bit of slack in the clutch cable. So as I spoke about earlier, I just adjusted the cable through the nuts on the bottom near the engine. Only needed moving about 3mm, and that was enough to allow for better clutch control. So the only downside to this bike, which is no big deal, the seat is quite firm. I've been riding the bike collectively for a couple of hours, but because of that natural upright position, there's a lot of weight on your bottom, so you do feel that after a while. But it's not the worst. It's not like you're gonna tour around Scotland on this bike. You don't need comfort to that degree. Another thing that I've noticed, you do get a lot of heat from the engine. If you're sitting in traffic, you can feel the heat. This is an air-cooled motor, so that is quite normal for an air-cooled engine. But air-cooled's not all bad. You don't have to worry about coolant changes, head gasket, water leaks, etc. And plus you save a lot of weight with air-cooled engine as well. And it serves a fantastic purpose. I just think putting a water-cooled engine on a bike like this is counterintuitive. Keeping costs down and keeping weight down, you don't need water cooling. It has plenty of power, just over 10 horsepower. That's all you need. Don't forget the bike is 11 kilograms lighter than the previous model, and they've actually increased the horsepower on this model, so you've got lighter weight, more horsepower, gives you a better all-round package. Another great thing that's worth mentioning that Honda have added, you've got an economy light. It lights up green when you're in optimum gear, allowing you for better fuel economy. And it also teaches riders when you're in the wrong gear. Say for instance, if I knock down a gear and I'm in third, the green light is not on, so something's wrong. You need to knock up the gear The engine's not revving. I've still got the performance and economy. So I think that's a fantastic feature on the dash, especially for new riders. I mean, this is not just for new riders. If you want something to pop to and from work, city riding, this is fantastic, ideal. Doesn't matter if you're an experienced rider or a new rider, this fits the bill. Right, so it's quite windy today. Because this is such a light vehicle, it does blow you around a little bit. For motorway riding, it's not bad. The top speed is 60 miles per hour. If you've got the wind behind you, you might push a little bit more. As I say, I'm 13.5 stone. Someone a bit lighter might achieve a little bit more than 60, but this is running in still. It's not had its first service yet. It is booked. So the performance will go up once the engine is fully run in. I've rode many bikes and I still enjoy riding this bike. It is a pleasure. It's quite windy today and you get a lot of wind on your shoulders and your head. The bike doesn't respond very well to wind, but that's not what the bike is built for. It doesn't really like going over 50 miles an hour. It's a bit vibey, a bit buzzy in the bars. You could probably eliminate this by putting some bar end weights. There's none on this vehicle, but it's not a big deal. It's perfectly adequate. So in the UK you have a choice of 3 colours. You've got white, black or red. This is my wife's choice. She does like white. As I said earlier, it's like a pearl white. It's got metallic paint. It shines in the sun. Oh, this bike's so fun to ride. You just throw it around the corners. It's so lightweight. 117 kilograms. Crazy weight. I'm loving it. It's a very, very nice bike. I know my wife who owns the bike, she is in love with it. She loves it. She really does. Like I said earlier, she had a Chinese Keyway last year and that put her off riding. Brought this bike, absolutely fell in love with riding. Like I say, she's done 380 miles in 3 weeks. That's without commuting. She's loving it. So if you're new to biking and you want to get into biking, I would highly recommend this bike, the 2021 Honda CB125F. You will not be disappointed. Honda do not make bad bikes, and I can't believe for £2,799 how much you get for your money. You've got that ESP engine. It's had years of development, finally getting to a position where it's Euro 5 compatible, which benefits you greatly. It's got the fantastic fuel economy. You've got less wear on the engine. It doesn't have a conventional starter motor. I mean, this is all included in that price: a digital dash, eco light, fuel gauge, gear indicator, LED lights all round. It's crazy. And the brakes on this are fantastic because it's such a light bike. It stops instantly. The brake actually feels better than my Honda NC 750X. So the bike is fantastic for lane splitting, or filtering in the UK as we say. Nice narrow bars, lightweight. Another reason why this bike is fantastic around town. It's cut through traffic, slip through all the little gaps, straight to the front. Perfect example as I'm filming this review. Well, that is the end of the video. I really appreciate you watching. Please consider subscribing. I currently ride a Honda NC 750X. This is my wife's CB125F. So there'll be plenty of videos on both these bikes. Trips out, coffees, cakes, and we would love for you to join a motorcycle journey. Until then, I've been Nick, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Ride safe, guys.